Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I've just got off vacation, so I'm sorry for the lack of content over the last 3 weeks. I've just come back from Florida. While I was away, just so much Warhammer stuff was released and all the news articles and stuff like that, from Deathwing to Eisenhorn, and what we're going to talk about today, the EC release date. Now, like I said, we're going to talk about the EC release date. So what I'm going to do is I've got no script or anything like that. I'm basically just going to talk. I'm just here now to sat down. I've got some time to myself. All my kids are asleep and stuff. So I'm just want to sit down and I want to share my feelings about EC at the moment and the EC release date, which is coming up on the 23rd, and the future of EC. So let's jump right in and let's get started. Right. So for people who don't know me, my name is Varak. Chat to Massive Varak's the channel name, but I'm also a moderator on the EC forums. To cut a long story short, back when EC was first announced, I got in contact with Miguel. We got talking and stuff, and then when they had like this really bad website and stuff like that, and the forums were about to get started, when they were in the process of getting the forums up, because they were like a couple of months where there's just no form for people to communicate. So I was like, hey, I know some coding. You know, if you guys need my help, I can help out with the coding on the website forms. So this person who was, I think he was the head of marketing for the game at the time. He was from another company. I really don't know what the company's called. I was completely lost. But his name was Anacel. His form profile is still on the EC forms, but he was the admin at the time, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, can I get some help?" So I basically did a little bit of coding and stuff like that, and they were like, "All right, thanks for the help. Do you want to be a moderator since you helped out and stuff?" And so I was like, "Oh yeah, cool." I was really happy to be to help the game, because I want to be a part of this game in any way I can, because it's it's something that I've always wanted. So that's how I became a moderator and stuff like that, for people who didn't know, and for people who didn't know me. So let's jump into the main subject, the release of Eternal Crusade on the 23rd. Now, when I first saw this news when I was in Florida, I didn't really get all the information from it because I didn't really have Wi-Fi or anything like that, so I couldn't read like the full statement or anything like that. I just basically got a message for one of my friends on Skype saying, "Hey, EC's coming out on the 23rd," and that was it. I was like, "What? EC's coming out on the 23rd?" So I had to go find some Wi-Fi somewhere and sit down and read all the information. So once I did all that, I basically sat back and just thought, my first feelings was I was scared. Basically, I'm not gonna lie. I am still scared. To be fair, I'm scared because I think there's so much to do in that month. There's so much to do. I'll go into detail and stuff like that, but like I said, if you look at this game now, in the state it's in right now, if it was to launch at this state, I don't think it will be received well off the mass crowd. I know if you look at Steam at the moment, even the reviews on Steam are dropping at the moment. When you look at stuff like Steam charts and stuff, there's not a lot of people playing the game. Like, me and my friends keep checking the old game Space Marine, and more or less that game has more players than EC, like at the main times, which is a scary thought, because EC has a lot to offer people, but you have these like old games, which is basically just Chaos versus Space Marines, and Space Marine was a great game, but it didn't really offer a lot on the multiplayer front. It was very the peer-to-peer stuff was lagging and stuff. So when I look at that and I see more people playing that than this, it's a really big cause of concern. And when you actually look at the player base and the attraction it has to people at the moment, like, I post on a hell of a lot of Warhammer forums. I always say this on my streams and stuff, if people watch my streams. I post on stuff like Bolton Chainsword, Daka Daka, Warseer, Heresy Online, and I've made threads about this game, not just on Warhammer sites, but I'm just going to discuss the Warhammer sites because I'm going to bring up a point. And the majority response I get off these Warhammer players who are big Warhammer players, they pick up all the digital games, and they're really into Warhammer digital gaming, is that they will not touch this game. They don't like the look of it, they don't like how it plays, they don't like the melee, they don't like this. And again, that's a call. I know people are different and stuff, but when you get the huge majority of people all saying the same thing, and it's like, you know, is it got to be one of these things where if it can't even attract the player base where the game should really have in its pocket, if you can't attract these Warhammer fans, which you know should be basically be queuing up to buy this game to play it, and if you can't really get them in your pocket, is how are you going to attract people who are non-Warhammer players? I know it has orcs and stuff, and people are like, oh yeah, look, it has this, it has orcs and stuff. They'll play it and stuff like that, but are they going to be long-standing people who are going to be playing this game all the way through, like you'd have Warhammer fans? Because people like me and obviously people who subscribe to this channel are Warhammer fans. We live and breathe Warhammer. Like I'm going to play this game no matter what. I've invested time, money, a lot of effort into this game. But for the people who are not really like that, is it basically be like they come in, they play it, and I don't like it, I get a refund, and then they leave like a bad review, and then that bad review then affects us all, because we're not going to get new players coming into the game because they're basically going to click on Steam, see the game, and think, wow, this game is really, really bad. Look at all the bad reviews it's got. And then we're all at a loss because at the moment there's a queue system. Now, the queue system, it frustrates me a bit at the moment for the simple fact that I'm playing the game. Let's go back. Right. For example, I was playing last night with my guild members, the guys in Vigila Mortis. Now we have like 50 guys, so we got a war party of over 20 people, and we're really excited. Like, oh yes, we can't wait. Hopefully we're going over against a guild. We'll go against big groups and stuff. So the only map we could play was a siege map because we couldn't do skirmish because we were over a certain player limit. So we were like, okay, screw it, let's do siege. We all love siege. Let's play this. Hopefully, we'll get a really big, nice group to go against, and we'll play. And we were actually stuck in the queue waiting for, I think it was a minimum of 25 minutes, and we still didn't get a game. It ended up people just thinking, right, I don't want to play the game anymore. I'm so bored of waiting. I'm just gonna quit out. And that's what I'm seeing more and more of now. Like when I'm playing games, the games don't seem full. Like the like, even in skirmish, I'm seeing 10 versus 10. And when you're at a stage where you've got 30 days left, and I'm seeing that, I'm really getting concerned. Like, are we really got to have the player base to keep the game going? Because I know after launch, they're promising expansions and stuff. So there's got to be content there for us, but if it comes to a point where we're not going to have the player base for that content, are they still going to develop content for the game? So the people who are still playing it, are we still got to get? Is it just going to become to like a stalemate where that's it? We'll have certain content, and then they're not going to dedicate it no more because there's no more profit in making content for the game. That's one of my big worries for actual future launch. Another one of my worries is that, like I said, where the game is at the moment. I know we've got a huge patch coming out next week, so I'm hoping for the best of that patch. But there's still a hell of a lot of problems at the moment that I'm reading about, not just from on the EC forums, but from like people in my chapter who I speak to regularly on TeamSpeak. Is that there's one chap called Proteus, and he can barely get over 10 FPS, and he's playing like other games and stuff like that. Like he's playing like Battlefield 3 and stuff, but on his on his system, he just cannot run EC at all. And I'm encountering this more and more with different people and guild people like that. The optimization issues and stuff. Now, if you add that towards everything that needs to be done before the 23rd of September, so you've got the optimization, you've got the balancing issues, and you've also got stuff like all the weapon modifications to get done. You've got all the maps to get done. You've got the itemization, like adding all the armor in game and stuff like that. It's just it seems for me, I really can't think of like how much work needs to be done what is it, like under 30 days now to get the game out. I'm hoping they've actually done a hell of a lot behind the scenes that they haven't shown us. But it brings to the point then that if they if they have done that, then why aren't they talking about it on the streams and stuff? That's one of the things that I'm concerned about. Hopefully they have, and they just want to keep it and just reveal it to us. But when I've got all these relic items and stuff like that, like my Mark III chest plate and stuff, and I've had that since the Rogue Trader store went live, and there's just nothing. I know they've brought out a few items and stuff now, but there's not really a lot there, and you've got other stuff to come as well, because this game is basically going to be, the profit from this game is going to be made from the shops. It's going to be the items. It's not going to be a pay-to-win game. Well, hopefully it won't turn into a pay-to-win game, but this game is going to be somewhere where they make the profits from selling items. So it's basically the rule of cool. That's what Warhammer is for me, which is, I think, I know a lot of people have that thought. It's basically making your guy look the biggest, baddest, and most badass on the battlefield. That's it for me. That's Warhammer for me. I want to look like the best guy on there. Look at me stuff. And if they offer that in the cash shop, which they will, that's going to be one of the main focus of bringing in a lot of cash. But I'm not seeing a lot of items at the moment. I know I've got some items in my inventory that I bought back when Miguel was part of the team, but I haven't really saw any progression on that front. I've just saw stuff like classes and stuff like that, which is fair. All the classes need to be fixed and stuff. But when you think about it, when this game's main source of money, personally, I think it is going to be the cash shop. I don't think they've really got a lot of content there, so we'll see where it goes with that. Again, what did I say? We said optimization. We said the items, the maps and stuff. You've got a hell of a lot of all these maps to do. I know they're not doing it where it's not like open world anymore. I know they did say they'll eventually have it when it becomes open world, but we haven't really saw or really had any information about that. They say it's all in the future and stuff, and everything's basically post-launch at the moment. But again, it's a bit difficult to see how the open world will work, or if the investment will be put in at this point. So that's another concern for me. I really want this game to be open world, for the simple fact that, going back to the queue system, like I said, 25 minutes we're waiting for the game, and that's like on a good day. I've been in a game where I'm playing a skirmish with some people, and I've waited 45 minutes for a game, and I've got into a game and it's ended in 2 minutes, and I've got right, that's it. I need to go sit. I need to go sit down somewhere. I need to go and do something else. So when you're encountering stuff like that, it can become kind of infuriating. But if you had an open world, I know a lot of people say, yeah, but you might not have the population for open world, but from my experience of PlanetSide 2, when you have an open world, you'll find that the groups, the communities, the members that are still part of the game will go to certain places to fight each other to create these battles, which you don't really have the opportunity to do when you have a lobby-based shooter, which EC is now. So with PlanetSide 2, you can go into a game, you can create your party, you get all your friends at the warp gate. Is it called? I think it's called a warp gate. You go to your warp gate and you can get a tank or a Sunderer or a Galaxy, and then you just go somewhere and just find a fight. Where with EC, it's basically you have to go in a game, you have to make your war party, then you have to queue, and then you have to wait till you get the same number of people on the opposite team to fight you. And when you're in a big guild like say mine, like BM is, and we're getting 20 to 30 people, we're waiting for 20-30 people on the other team to show up, and it can become really frustrating. And I don't want to do it where I'm breaking the guild down into small 8-man squads and stuff, because you're not really playing with your guild then or anything like that. It's just not fun. So hopefully they'll get that all sorted out, and hopefully in the future we'll have some kind of open world kind of map where you can just go out and just fight each other. That's one of my main things on the list for post launch. That's what I really want. So yeah, let's go back to the maps and the weapons and stuff like that. This is one of the last points I'm going to make. So you've got the maps now. They obviously, on the subject of open world, what we've just come from, we're not really got the open world, so we've got maps. Now they promise like a huge lots of maps and stuff like that, and they basically got to have like different biomes in that map. So sorry, by the way, my Skype just, I had to close my Skype down. Someone messaged me. So you've got different biomes in that map now. So for example, we're playing on this map at the moment, this snow map you see in the background. Now next time we could play in that map and it is in the daylight and it has like a snowstorm and it has like a thunderstorm or something like that. So you got to get the same maps, but they got to have like different atmospheres on them. Like you might have like chaos warps and stuff like that. So you know they still got all that to do. On them, which I haven't really saw a lot of, really. You know, I've saw one or two, like this one. This one's more or less been in since early access, what I'm playing now, and I haven't really saw any you know, different versions of this map and stuff. I was hoping that by this time we would actually have some different versions of this map, and so let's see. I fair dues to the devs, because they actually have put different versions of the map. They have actually listened to feedback with some of the maps. I think it's Pegasus Station and Alypius. I can't really speak tonight. I'm a bit jet lagged still, but Alypius. They've taken some and Black Bolt as well. Yeah, they've taken some of the feedback and they've changed their maps around and stuff, which is, they are a lot more funner now than they actually were. So I'm glad they're listening to that kind of feedback and stuff. So they are working on that front. It's just getting it all out on that under that 30 days now. That's what I mean. They've given themselves basically a date now where they have to get everything that they promised they would say at launch into the game now, and if they don't, I think there's going to be a lot of repercussions within the community if they don't add their objectives. So yeah, same with the weapons. Like we said before, with the cash shop, weapons, armor, and stuff, that's all going to be their income. They've promised thousands of different weapons, but it doesn't mean you got to get like every new weapon's a different one. I think they're going on about you can change your weapon scope and stuff, that so I can have a weapon and then I can have a weapon with that same weapon with a scope. For them, that's a different weapon. That's where they're putting down 1,000 different weapons. It's all different combinations and stuff like that. So that's another thing we're seeing the start of. Well, we saw it a couple of weeks ago, but it's getting to a bit more full pace. But they still got a lot of work to do. This is the concern. They've got so much work to actually do before that deadline is. I'm so nervous, because I do want this game to be amazing, and probably a lot of people have listened to this saying, "Oh, you're complaining too much. You're complaining. Stop being a mard and stuff like that." I'm not being mad, and I'm not being I'm not slagging the game off at all like that. You know, all the devs. I think the devs have done a fantastic job up to this point on the game. I know when Nathan came along, I was a bit concerned, like, who's this guy? Who is he? Who's this guy touching EC? But he's actually come along and he's done actually a fantastic job getting the game to where it is now at this stage, from where it was when Miguel left. I think he's actually done a fantastic job. So props to him and props to all the team that have been on this long ride so far and actually have got the game into this state. But yeah, I don't want. I want this game to be amazing. I want it to be like the best thing since sliced bread. I keep saying this on my streams and everywhere else. I want this game to be absolutely incredible. I want to come on release day. I want to go on PC Gamer or Rock Paper Shotgun or whatever it's bloody called, and see, well, everyone go buy EC. EC is an amazing game. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That's what I want. I want this game to be huge. I want it to be amazing. So that's why I'm so. It's like a child to me. It's like let's call it a gene seed. It's part of me. This game, I've put so much time, so much dedication into this game that I want it to be successful. And I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this feel the exact same way. They put a lot of time and a lot of stuff into the game as well. So yeah, I'm probably just going to stop there, because I think I'm near like 20 minutes now of me just rambling on. I'm sure everyone's sick of me. So yeah, they've got a lot to do in under a month to get the game out. I'm really concerned. We'll see. We'll see when we get to the game's launch. I'm not one of these people who does reviews of games and all that kind of jazz and all that kind of stuff. I'm basically, I just like playing games and showing them off and talking about them and stuff like that. But when the game does come out, I will try and do like a little video of like the game on release date, the status it's in, and what it has and what it doesn't have. But you know, it's not going to be like a fancy review like you see of people like what Angry Joe does and all them kind of YouTubers. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, chaps. Stay, yeah, keep watching the channel because this is just one of many videos I'm going to be doing over the next week because, like I said at the start, there's so much Warhammer content that's come out since I went away. So I appreciate you watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you don't, then sorry. I didn't mean to offend, by the way. You know, if I've offended people and people feel like, oh, you're a dick, that wasn't my intentions. I just wanted to speak how I feel. You know, please don't take it personally or anything like that. You know, I'm not one of them people who goes out their way to try and stick a knife into a dying corpse just for the fun of it. But yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate your watch, and I hope you have a nice night, gents and ladies. So see you now and have a good one. Thank you. Bye bye.